Ladies, listen closely. A man may smile at you, compliment you, even chase you, but the real question is this: will he choose you for a season, or will he trust you for a lifetime? Men don't just watch what you say, they test who you are, and if you don't know the tests, you won't recognize. When you're taking the exam, patience is not just waiting. Anybody can wait if they have no choice. What really reveals patience is how you act while you're waiting. A man may not tell you directly, but he's always observing. He wants to know if you're the type who demands everything right now: the commitment, the ring, the house, the instant gratification. Or are you the type who understands that good things, real things, lasting things take time to build? Because here's the truth. A man who is serious about his life, his future, and his responsibilities will not just hand his heart to someone who can't handle the slow process of growth. Patience is not weakness. It is power under control. Think about it. A man knows that relationships aren't built in a single night, no matter how strong the attraction feels in the beginning. He knows there will be seasons of waiting, seasons of delay, seasons where things don't happen as fast as either of you want. And in those moments, he's watching. He's testing to see, can you trust the process, or will you try to control it? If you can't be patient, he wonders, how will you stand when life requires endurance? Because life will demand patience, and marriage will demand patience. If you can't show it in the beginning, you'll struggle even more later. Men test patience by creating space. They may not call one day, they may not text back immediately, or they may take longer to commit than you expect. Not because they don't care, but because they want to see how you react when your emotions are stretched. Do you panic? Do you spiral? Do you lash out? Or do you hold steady, knowing that what is meant for you will not pass you by? A man notices if you are secure enough in yourself to wait with confidence. Because a woman who cannot wait with peace will always bring chaos, and no man wants to invite chaos into his life. Patience also shows maturity. A woman who understands timing knows that rushing a man will not make him rise faster, it will only push him away. Real men resist pressure because they know that pressure destroys relationships before they're ready. Patience, on the other hand, creates space for trust to grow naturally. When a man sees that you are not rushing him, not demanding unrealistic timelines, not comparing him to others, he feels safe. And when a man feels safe, he begins to open up more of himself. You see, patience doesn't just test you, it invites him to trust you. But let's be clear, patience is not passivity. It doesn't mean you wait around forever for someone who's not serious, or tolerate disrespect in the name of being patient. No, patience means you know the difference between a man who is building and a man who is stalling. Patience means you trust the pace of a man who has vision, but you also have the wisdom to walk away from a man who has no direction. This is where many people fail the test. They confuse waiting with wasting. A wise woman waits for the right man who is moving forward. A woman who lacks patience will settle for any man who offers attention today and miss the one who would have built with her tomorrow. Finally, patience reveals faith. Faith in yourself, faith in your value, faith in the future you believe you deserve. Men test patience because they know a woman who can't wait doesn't really trust herself. She doesn't believe she's worth the wait, so she demands quick results, quick titles, quick validation. But a woman who knows her worth, she doesn't beg, she doesn't chase, she doesn't force. She waits with confidence because she knows that what is real, what is meant, will always align at the right time, and that kind of patience, that is magnetic, that is rare, and that is what makes a man think, she's not just here for now, she's here for the long run. Pressure is the moment when life stops being comfortable. It's when bills stack up, when goals get delayed, when the unexpected shakes your world. Pressure is when the mask comes off. And make no mistake, men, notice how you respond when the pressure hits. See, it's easy to smile when everything is smooth. It's easy to be sweet when everything is handed to you. But pressure reveals the truth. Pressure exposes character. Pressure answers the question every man is asking silently: can she stand with me when life pushes back? Understand this: no real man expects life to be perfect. He knows storms are part of the journey. He knows dreams require sacrifice. He knows success comes with setbacks. What he doesn't know is whether you're built for those moments. That's why he watches. That's why he tests. He wants to see, when pressure comes, will you crumble? Will you complain? Or will you rise up and say, I'm not going anywhere. We'll face this together. Because the truth is, anyone can enjoy the sunshine, but only the right one can handle the rain. Men test pressure in subtle and not so subtle ways. He may share his struggles with money, his doubts about his career, or his fears about the future. He's not just talking, he's observing. He wants to see if you'll look at him differently when he's vulnerable. He wants to see if your respect wavers when the shine fades. He wants to see if you only love the highlight reel or if you're strong enough for the behind the scenes. Because listen closely, a man who is building needs someone who doesn't just cheer when the trophy is raised, but someone who can help carry the weight while the fight is still being fought. Pressure is not just about his problems. Sometimes he'll watch how you handle your own. Do you fall apart over little inconveniences? Do you lash out when life doesn't go your way? Or do you stay grounded, showing that your peace is stronger than your problems? Men admire beauty, but they commit to strength. They want a woman who can manage storms without turning every ripple into a hurricane. Not because he expects you to be perfect, but because he knows his life will already come with battles, and he needs to know you won't add fire to the fire. But let's be real, many women fail this test without realizing it. They fail it when they make pressure about themselves. When he's under stress, they demand attention instead of offering understanding. When he's fighting battles, they complain about the lack of romance instead of standing beside him in loyalty. When he feels like the world is against him, they add to the weight instead of lifting it. And in that moment, a man decides silently, she's not built for the long run. It doesn't mean he won't still enjoy your company, but it does mean he won't build his future with you. The woman who passes the test of pressure is the one who understands balance. She doesn't excuse a man's laziness, but she doesn't abandon him in his struggle either. She doesn't expect him to be Superman every day, but she reminds him he has the strength to rise again. She doesn't nag him when he's low, she speaks life into him. She doesn't run when life gets hard, she tightens her grip. That woman becomes unforgettable, because pressure doesn't just break people, it bonds people. And when a man feels you can stand with him in the fire, he begins to imagine you standing with him for life. Remember this, pressure creates diamonds. Every man knows that, and he's looking for the kind of woman who can endure the squeeze without shattering. Because at the end of the day, life is not about how you act when it's easy. It's about how you act when it's hard. Pressure reveals loyalty. Pressure reveals strength. And pressure reveals whether you're truly ready for the role of a lifetime, not just as his lover, but as his partner. Respect is oxygen to a man. Without it, he suffocates. Without it, he shuts down. You may think love is enough, But let me tell you something. A man can live without constant affection, but he cannot thrive without respect. And that's why respect is one of the greatest tests he gives to a woman he's considering for his future. He doesn't just listen to what you say to him, he pays attention to how you treat him, how you speak about him, and how you handle him in both public and private. See, admiration and attraction may pull a man in, but respect is what makes him stay. And this is where many people fail without even realizing it. They think respect is about grand gestures or obeying commands. No, respect is not about submission. It's about recognition. Recognition of who he is, what he carries, and what he's trying to build. Respect is the fuel that empowers a man to fight battles outside, knowing he has peace and honor inside his home. Without it, he feels drained. With it, he feels unstoppable. Men test respect in ways that are subtle but intentional. He listens carefully to how you respond when you disagree with him. Do you attack his character, or do you challenge his ideas with grace? He watches how you act in public. Do you belittle him with jokes to get a laugh? Or do you protect his image even when he's not in the room? He notices how you speak about him to your friends, to your family, to the world. Because every man knows this. If a woman does not respect him behind his back, her love in his face doesn't mean much. Respect is especially tested in moments of weakness. When he fails, when he makes a mistake, when his plan doesn't go the way he hoped, that's when he watches the closest. Do you shame him? Do you throw his failures in his face? Do you remind him of how he fell short compared to other men? Or do you lift him up, reminding him that even in failure, he is still worthy of honor? A woman who can respect a man in his low points will be treasured when he rises again, because she showed loyalty when it wasn't convenient. But here's the hard truth: disrespect is louder than love. You can cook, clean, show affection, and even say, "I love you." But if your words cut him down, if your tone strips him of dignity, if your actions embarrass him in front of others, none of the good cancels out the harm. Men may not always say it out loud, but disrespect wounds them deeper than rejection. And many times, it's the reason a man will pull away silently, choosing distance over confrontation. On the other hand, a woman who masters respect becomes unforgettable. She doesn't idolize him, she humanizes him. She doesn't flatter him with empty words, she strengthens him with genuine honor. She doesn't treat him as less when he's vulnerable, she treats him as more because she sees his effort. That kind of woman doesn't have to beg for commitment. A man gives it freely because respect makes him feel safe. Respected makes him feel valued, and respect makes him feel like a king, not because he demands it, but because she offers it without being asked. So remember this: men don't test respect because they're arrogant. They test respect because they know that without it, love won't survive. A man can share his money, his time, his body, but he will only share his legacy with the one who honors him with respect. Because love may open the door, but respect is what keeps it open. Independence is not about pushing a man away. It's about showing him that you don't need him to survive, you choose him to build with. And believe me, that difference is everything. Men test independence because they want to know if you bring value into their life, or if you'll simply drain the value they've worked so hard to create. They want to know, are you an asset or a liability, a partner or a passenger, a multiplier or a subtractor? Here's the truth: real men don't want to carry someone who refuses to stand on their own 2 feet. Yes, he may provide, he may support, he may even spoil you, but deep inside, He's watching to see if you can hold your own. Because if all you bring is need, then eventually you become a burden. A man may enjoy a dependent woman for a season, but he will only build his legacy with a woman who proves she is strong, resourceful, and independent. Now let me be clear, independence does not mean arrogance. It doesn't mean you say, "I don't need a man." It doesn't mean you reject his help or disrespect his role. No, true independence is balanced. It says, "I can take care of myself if I need to, but I choose to let you lead where you are strong. I can contribute, but I also know how to receive. I'm whole on my own, and that's why I can love you completely." That's the independence that attracts men who are building something serious. Men test independence in different ways. He might ask about your goals, your passions, your vision for your life. He wants to hear more than just vague dreams. He wants to see if you're truly driven or simply waiting for someone else to hand you a future. He may pay attention to how you handle your finances. Are you reckless and always waiting for someone to rescue you? Or are you disciplined enough to manage what you have? He notices whether you can make decisions, solve problems, and stand firm in your values, or if you crumble the moment things don't go your way. A woman who shows independence doesn't just talk about strength, she lives it. She has her own identity, her own goals, her own ambitions, and here's the irony, the more independent she is, the more a man wants to give to her. Why? Because independence proves she doesn't need him, she chooses him. And when a man knows he is chosen, not used, his commitment deepens. Independence makes him feel secure that you are with him because of who he is, not just because of what he provides. But dependence without balance? That pushes men away. A man knows that if a woman can't function without him, then the relationship will always be lopsided. He'll always feel like he's carrying the weight alone. He knows that if she can't stand on her own, then she's not really with him, she's with the security he provides. And no man wants to be loved for what he gives more than who he is. Here's where many women fail the test. They think independence means rejecting help, rejecting gifts, rejecting his leadership. But that's not strength, that's pride. Real independence doesn't reject partnership, it enhances it. A man doesn't want competition from his woman. He wants collaboration. He doesn't want to feel unnecessary. He wants to feel complimented. The right balance of independence shows him that you are capable, but also willing to build together. So remember this. Men test independence because they're not looking for someone to complete them. They're looking for someone to join them. Someone who already knows her value, her purpose, and her strength. Someone who doesn't just take, but contributes. Someone who can walk beside him, not just behind him. Independence proves that you're not looking for a rescue, you're looking for a partnership. And to a man with vision that is irresistible, consistency is the heartbeat of trust. Anybody can act right for a moment. Anybody can impress for a season. But consistency is what reveals who someone really is. That's why men test consistency. They want to know, are you who you appear to be, or are you just performing until it's convenient to stop? See, attraction may catch his eye, but consistency is what convinces his heart. A man knows that love without consistency is chaos. He knows that passion without stability is a disaster waiting to happen. And so, he tests. He pays attention to the small things, the way you treat him when you're happy, the way you treat him when you're angry, the way you act when you're in public versus when you're in private. Men test consistency because they want to see if you're steady or if you're unpredictable. Can he trust your words? Can he rely on your actions? Can he believe that who you are today is who you'll still be tomorrow? Here's the thing, inconsistency is easy to spot. At first, someone may be sweet, affectionate, and present. But give it time. If it's just an act, cracks will show. Maybe the energy drops, maybe the tone changes, maybe the effort disappears, and a man is watching quietly. He's noticing. Because he knows that a woman who can't stay consistent in the early days will not suddenly become consistent when life gets harder. Men test consistency in subtle ways. He might take longer to respond to see if your patience holds steady or if your attitude shifts. He might hold back affection to see if you love him only when he gives, or if you remain loyal even when he doesn't. He might share his weaknesses to see if your respect stays the same, or if it disappears once you see he's human. Consistency isn't about being perfect, it's about being steady. And men notice the difference, but let's talk about the flip side. Inconsistency kills trust faster than anything else. If one day you're loving and the next you're distant, one day you're loyal and the next you're disloyal, one day you're peaceful and the next you're explosive, a man begins to wonder, which version of her am I really committing to? That question alone can stop him from moving forward. Because men don't want to guess who they're waking up to each day. They want stability, they want security, they want consistency. Now, consistency doesn't mean you never have emotions. It doesn't mean you can't have a bad day or moments of weakness. What it does mean is that your character doesn't shift with your mood. It means your loyalty doesn't vanish because you're upset. It means your respect doesn't disappear because you didn't get your way. It means your values are steady even when your feelings are not. That's what a man looks for, not perfection but reliability. And here's the truth, consistency is rare. Many people can be exciting, fun, even intoxicating in the beginning. But few can be steady, dependable, and grounded for the long haul. And men know it. That's why they test it. Because no man wants to commit his future to someone who can't be counted on today. A woman who passes this test of consistency proves she is more than a moment, she is a foundation. She's not just someone to enjoy, she's someone to build with. So remember this. Men test consistency not because they're suspicious, but because they're serious. They know that love without consistency is pain waiting to happen. But love with consistency, that's peace, that's trust, that's legacy. Consistency is what makes a man look at you and say, she's not just temporary, she's forever. Every man who has purpose carries a vision. A vision for where he's going, what he's building, and who he wants to become. And if he's wise, he won't just choose a woman for where he is today, he'll choose her for where he's going tomorrow. That's why men test vision. They want to know, can you see beyond what's in front of you? Can you believe in his future even when it's not yet visible? Can you encourage his dreams, not just consume his present? Here's the truth. Vision is fragile in the early stages. When a man is just starting out, the world may laugh at his ideas. People may doubt him, criticize him, or dismiss his goals. But in that moment, he's paying attention to one voice louder than all the others yours. Because the woman beside him has the power to either strengthen his faith or suffocate it, that's why a man will test if you support his vision. He wants to know, are you here for the man he is, or for the man he's becoming? Men test vision in different ways. He may share a crazy idea with you, something bigger than his current reality, just to see how you respond. Do you laugh? Do you dismiss it? Do you say, be realistic? Or do you encourage him, even if you don't fully understand it yet? He may talk about sacrifices, working late, saving money, turning down distractions to see if you'll complain or if you'll stand beside him. He may even slow down his progress to watch if you'll push him to stay focused or if you'll let him drift into comfort. All of it is a test. He's not just asking if you love him now, he's asking if you believe in the man he's becoming. And let's be clear, believing in his vision doesn't mean being blind. It doesn't mean following him into foolishness or tolerating laziness. No, real support means discernment. It means recognizing when a man is truly building something, even if it takes time, and standing with him through the struggle. It means encouraging progress, not enabling excuses. A woman who believes in vision doesn't just cheer, she also challenges. She pushes him higher, calls him to better, and reminds him of who he said he wanted to become when he starts to forget. But here's where many fail the test. They only support the vision once it's visible. Once the money shows up, once the success arrives, once the recognition comes, then they clap, then they cheer. But in the beginning, when he's working late nights, grinding without results, trying and failing, they complain. They want the lifestyle without the process, and men notice. A man will never forget the woman who believed in him when he had nothing, and he'll never truly trust the one who doubted him until he had everything. Supporting a man's vision doesn't mean you lose your own. In fact, the strongest relationships are built when both people have a vision, and they find ways to align them. A man doesn't want a woman who abandons her dreams for him. He wants a woman who pursues her dreams with the same passion she encourages his. Why? Because when both have vision, they become unstoppable. They sharpen each other, they inspire each other, they hold each other accountable. And that's when two people stop being just a couple, they become a force. So remember this. Men test vision because they know life is more than moments. They know relationships are more than attraction. They know love is more than feelings. At the end of the day, they want someone who doesn't just share their present, but someone who shares their future. A woman who passes the test of vision proves she's not just there for the ride, she's there for the destination. She's not just impressed by who he is now, she's invested in who he will be. And to a man with dreams, there is nothing more powerful than that. Asterisk, so let me leave you with this. Men don't test women to play games. They test because they know love without truth will never last. They test because they want to see if you're built for the storms, not just the sunshine. They test because the woman they choose is not just part of their present. She becomes part of their legacy. Patience, pressure, respect, independence, consistency, vision, these are not tricks, these are truths. And when you understand them, you stop asking, why is he testing me? And you start saying, thank you for the chance to show who I really am. Because in end, a man doesn't just want beauty, he doesn't just want charm, he wants character. And when you pass the test, you don't just win his attention, you win his trust, his respect, and his forever. Asterisk.